Fun fact about PYRAMAZE's Epitaph, and I briefly mentioned this in our initiation experience, perhaps mutually, with A Stroke of Magic, the second track on the album, and, well, really the first full track, and our origin, or at least mine, to welcoming the graces of PYRAMAZE into my music library. And I think this is a group that certainly painted a very aspirational picture going forward in the evolution of Epitaph and in our experiences together. I cannot wait to hear more from them. As I was saying, I had planned to cover this group for a little while now, and in fact, the selection of tracks I had determined in advance was in early June. I think around that point. That's when, in fact, as I typically do, pre-purchase all the songs I consult. That's when I gathered their works, and they've been sitting in my playlist ever since, and I've been meaning to get to them. And I do cover a wide field of artists here, so there's many names that get delayed, not by intention, just because I have a great list of, like, several names as I look at it right now. PYRAMAZE did get put on the back burner until apparently late October. Here we are. It's taken me this long, but I've been meaning to get to them, in particular because European talent is just so attractive to me, and PYRAMAZE of Danish power metal standing. I figured there'd be an advantage here. I'm definitely growing in my favoritism towards power metal, even though symphonic metal is my favorite. And as I've said many times, and many of you know, if you're taking these experiences of me through shared encounters with music in general, which I love doing, I think it enriches the process of musical consumption, especially in an opportunity to pitch paths forward for any ever initiate listeners like myself, right? That's where I stand at PYRAMAZE. This will be my second encounter that perhaps we're taking together, right? If you have a similar vantage point to me, or you approach me in a knowledgeable and long-time experienced PYRAMAZE fan. They've been around for a good number of years, so, and I welcome your company as well, or really anybody, right? And even not necessarily, metal or rock fans in general. You just have, I hope you have a willingness to experience good art and good music, right? And PYRAMAZE delivered robustly with that initiation experience. A well-delivered rock number on the power metal route with a symphonic touch. I love, again, like I said, how respectably fine-tuned that first piece was. Great vocal delivery and good narratives, broad application as well. With, as I understand it, defined realism to at least some of their pieces. There's a grounded perspective to their work, but a good introduction that I'm looking forward to developing further. Though, as I said, on origin of anticipation in covering their work, Epitaph, our journey through it, would have only consisted of 5 numbers in total, but I've expanded to 7 since. Why? In preparation, I was consulting, in fact, again, one particular frequented site for me, for many European talents, to get a first knowledge footing so that we're all on an even playing field, and I give you that as well in information. The Metal Archives, or Encyclopedia Metallum. I happened to approach one review from the album, I believe posted by Slam Grinder as of this year, yes, on April 23rd, 2023. And in the third paragraph, as I've noted many times with music here, I have a particular soft spot for aggressive metal numbers, though I keep an open door even beyond metal, right, to anything. A willingness to humor many groups. And you'll see that there are departure points coming up in who I've planned, at least on musical expression. There's some that depart wildly. Even though metal is a mainstay, and certainly aggressive metal is a favorite. But even in metal, there's a lot of variance, right? You have softer numbers, you have harsher numbers. It's a good mix. Good palette. We'll see if there's any variance to be expressed with PYRAMAZE, though it seems there's a central rough voice that, at the very least on initiation of Epitaph, is presented. That's in fact what this third paragraph implies from the review. There's a bit of like an electronic flair, a dance mood. So I'm curious with this one. But riffs, you imply, again, there's a bit of a rougher edge. So let's see the voice of Steal My Crown, especially in the transition going from A Stroke of Magic. Right? This is the third track on the album and the follow-up to that as we're building out an evolution. But I just found that kind of curious. And I'm sure for you PYRAMAZE fans, more encounters will easily be welcomed, right? I know this is a rather spontaneous choice, and as I said previously in that first video, they depart a bit from other European explorations, right? This is very much a self-dive journey for me, and I rely on my comment sections to provide a number of references, but PYRAMAZE, they depart a bit from that traditional mechanism. In fact, I found them through connections to other artists that some of them have appeared on this channel. In fact, if you look at their latest album on one of the, in fact, the collaborative guest on part of one of the tracks, it's, I think, going to be our final journey of PYRAMAZE of present standing from what I've determined. And I can't wait to get to that one. It's going to be a fun encore. But as well with this album, there's a collaborative presence on behalf of track number 9 with Brittany Slays from Unleash the Archers. And as I've said there, their name has been asked for me to get to in my comment section, and as I told you, PYRAMAZE is going to be the first step, because I was introduced to Brittany Slays via another collaboration in terms of first entrances of humor in her work, and I figured it'd be fun to replicate the path again with a different voice via PYRAMAZE, and we're doing that now with Epitaph, developing in our understanding to that 9th track, I think 4th or 5th in selection here from what I've determined, but Steal My Crown is the next step in. I thought this would be, a curious release to investigate. Let's humor it. Okay, yeah, dominant synthes. I might start using that term now, too. And again, there's that symphonic touch. You have a background choir. I can see the dance expression. Yeah, it's there. Harsh voice, though. I like it. Good structuring. Good power metal mix, too. Again, even if it might go into a dance territory or somewhere approximate, it still has its power metal voice that's a staple of PYRAMAZE, at least for what I've recognized so far. Prolonged introduction, okay. Well, here we go. I like it. And like I said in the last video, this lead vocalist really sounds like Shinetown's Brent Smith. It's incredibly similar. Okay, reduced pre-chorus possibly? I don't know. Or chorus, let's see. Pre-chorus, okay. Good. Great lead. The pattern on the organization with those the word strikes on that second line, great choice. It deters a bit, but it's nice to have it off count. I like it a lot. So far, our journey is going very well together, isn't it? Oh, bit of a jump, okay. Not bad, it's an interesting cutoff, it works. Yeah, a number that keeps you on your toes. You can't predict it. Not fully. I really like the touches on this one. Not bad at all. Beautiful build-up, right? The familiar power metal instrumental break, not bad. I'll tell you while we have this. PYRAMAZE is like, if you're a Camelot fan, they come across a bit more ancient on voice to me, though I like them. This is like a modern variant of their work. It's not bad at all. Oh, I love it. That line too is strong on narrative. I'm glad I revised for track order. You know, I would have listened to that one easily, 100%. But due to my promise with any artist, really, that even beyond the selection of tracks I pick, and occasionally I'll do album selections, right, in full, that it depends. It's again, I have a lot of artists I consult. I try to be fair in how much time I accommodate each one. But sometimes, I'm spurred on to, maybe look at a work at its full potential. Or generally what I will do, and I promise this, is I will go for myself and I'll listen to the rest of the pieces maybe I don't recognize with you. I'm grateful, though, that I decided to revise the order and include that one. That one, that's a fun experience to enjoy corporately, isn't it? That's a good number. Synths, attractive to me. I'm growing in my favorability to electronically influenced rock, by the way. It has, in fact, been Europe and not just Europe, but there's been a couple other groups by exception that have built for me a favorability in that, because I wasn't always a big EDM fan guy or anything of that vein. Typically, electronic music for me has to have a melodic backbone, and a lot of these other numbers do, where the music is a superficial accompaniment and a corresponding voice within the number to individually stylize it. This one, perfect hybrid with the power metal dominance. It's so cool, though, to see these connections form with this group. Like I said, for me, some of my favorites are coming into play with this. Even if for some of them in an early introduction phase. I'll get to that in a minute, again, with that credit. But, like I said on Stroke of Magic, the vocals remind me a lot of Brent Smith from Shinedown. I like this. It's distinct, though. Especially on the chorus section, you start to see the two separate. But on those verses, it reminds me so much of Shinedown. But PYRAMAZE, with the power metal touch, I'm really liking this group. I know it's only 2 numbers in, but as well as what I said with music's respect, I hear Camelot. There's this ancient facade that I see embodied by their pieces, and I think is partly welcome because of some of the visualizers and the style of the writing on the lyrics, especially with the newest album. There is that mix, like Eventide, is it Blood Moon? It's one of those numbers. In New Babylon, that kind of comes up. PYRAMAZE is like Camelot on instrumental in a modern voice. Even though Camelot works for the modern audience. I don't mean to say like it's relegated to past eras of exploration, or if it's limited by being at a different time. Not at all. It still for sure is a modern relevancy and attraction. But PYRAMAZE's style appears a little more contemporary on organization. But it's so Camelot, too, though. I don't know if anybody else knows this. Maybe this is just me, right? Music is a deeply subjective and individual experience, as I said, but I love the definition of this number. It's just really nice. And Camelot doesn't play as much with... I mean, they have occasionally in some appearances with synths, but it's light. This is more of, like I say, a electronic power metal blending, and it works. And there is license, to that hybrid, right? Even as expressed by other groups from AFM Records. Metalite, Dynasty, you see that pop up on Influence as well. I love that integration, though. For Steal My Crown, it absolutely works. And the development on the number on lyrical tracking and how it meshes to the instrumental structure, great fit. That development with the pre-chorus, it reduces a bit. Even on the second one, there's a cutoff on that refrain. It only goes into half. It's a nice switch. I love how they return to it, too, on the last refrain of the chorus. That's a great idea. Again, it gives this bookend perspective. But the chorus sections, to go back into that full throttle route, I love it. And the off-placed lyrics in, like... You look at how the other lines are organized. They just say you want to steal my crown, where those words are placed, versus am I your broken pieces, and the way that's organized and meshed with the song. It's a great pattern. And that line, too, am I your broken pieces that you want to crawl, or that you want to crawl. I love that. I've noted many times, my music tastes automatically with metal put me in a more niche space and put me in a place where I am socially adrift in my peer circles. I have no adjacency when it comes to musical connections, and I wish I did. With all of you in my comment sections, I've had that sense of fellowship be fostered in what I would love in real life. Well, kind of what I do in real life, but not like on face-to-face experiences. And I don't mean to boast in any way when I say this, but I've noted many times, there's a strength in being an anomaly, right? And maybe a bit adrift in your peer circles. When you get so many welcome introductions into artists that maybe are not necessarily mainstays within certain communities within America yet. Maybe there is an American audience for PYRAMAZE, and I think there's license for that to grow. especially worldwide. I know in Europe and Denmark, especially, they probably have wide appeal. But, there's a lot of metal fans here too. I speak again from a deeply personal perspective when I say this. There is no connection among my peers, and I can only assume that maybe this exists in other places, right? Maybe you can speak to, your friend circle liking PYRAMAZE. Maybe there is some point of departure, but I'm like 100% confident that nobody that I'm in close contact with knows this name. Which, it partly saddens me, but it also, I see the strength in, again, being a bit adrift. In the privilege of having more isolated encounters and experiences, I've come across so many talented names, PYRAMAZE being no different. And if I can manage this in any way, right, what I would love for people in my close vicinity to have, I'd love to pitch routes, right, for fresh introductions if permitted, and to give you an opportunity for that if you, in fact, as well are an initiate listener of theirs. And maybe you're looking for new groups to carry on your playlist, whether you happen to be a metal fan or not, right, and you're just open to good musical exploration. Isn't PYRAMAZE just great? I know we're only taking 2 introductions with their work thus far, and we will develop more, for sure. I've got, like I said, 7 numbers in total for this album, and more coming after, but I love taking deep dives with so many artists in PYRAMAZE. What a welcome introduction, not only to this channel, but in my library. They're going to quickly become a favorite. Steal my crown for me, instant replay. I'd love to hear that shared with you down below. Again, maybe, right, we have individual experiences. Feel free to share whatever you want to on your thoughts with Steal My Crown and on PYRAMAZE, right, and your standing, right? Longtime fan, first initiate listener like myself, what are your thoughts? I can't wait to hear more. Next up is Your Last Call. That was also corresponding to the review that I read. So that was another expansion track. And that one flows a bit differently, at least on pitch for me, on favorability and why I chose it. That's more so in respect to narrative. But on music, we'll see if there maybe, again, it carries on that roughened mood, as well as maybe the influence of synthes. I love that. I'm going to start using that more often, but wow, 2 numbers in. Epitaph is great, isn't it? I'm really liking this collection thus far. The growth and the development from the different numbers, plus the central voice on the power metal route. I love what I'm experiencing with PYRAMAZE, and I hope you do too, and I cannot wait to have more encounters alongside all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.